Welcome back to Who Should You Choose, the video series where I go through the prior videos, questions, and comments and help you with your HUT lineup decisions. It is the fantasy event release day. So again, there will be a big stream for that. 5 p.m. Eastern time it is released. It's always one of the biggest events of the year. So if you're able to, come check that out later today. Let's get into the questions. All right, these were the top comments anyways. From Turkey, he says, Bonjour from Quebec. Quick question. Is it better to have Jonathan Drew in 82 non-sellable or 84 account bound? He won't make my team anyway. Congrats on the amazing content. You want it? Well, I mean, if he's not going to make your team, then the 82, because you could sell him in. There's no reason to go out and grind for the 84. Is there a way to filter your stats by game mode, like just rivals or squad battles? I wish, brother. There should be offline and online. But no, there is not. Hey, Slaves, is it wrong to think I should stop at 9 wins in HUT Champs? I do not have enough games left to get any meaningful packs, and it feels like the 84 overall card isn't as useful as a mega pack at the moment. This is the issue. I said this in the Game Changer chat. I asked, hey, can we get an explanation of what each of the packs are so that we can make our decisions on that? This is the issue with going with a pack for reward instead of giving us a collectible for each win and then us deciding what packs we want to go after. Because, we don't know. The packs that you might get, the mega pack, might be legitimately all bronze players, like 70 to 74, you know? You might not get any pulls, in which case you want Marlowe because it's a guaranteed good card. I personally would always go after the guaranteed card because, you know, you're not guaranteed to pull anything, so especially in 25. All right, can you break down what the typical division alignment is for HUT Champs results? Example, Division 1, top 100, Division 2, 13 to 15 wins, 3, 10 to 13. I honestly have no clue how to rate myself against the competition after your last few videos, Twitch discussing HUT Champs, with HUT Champs being a game mode for Division 1 to 3 players. I'm a Division 4 player, and last year typically finished with 8 to 10 wins, and I got some pretty decent rewards throughout the year. Your channel is why I have YouTube downloaded. Keep up the good work. We all appreciate it. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. So this is hard because it's hard to generalize. I can only give like what's around my skill level and above because I see it so much. And also the issue is that like saying you're Division 2, but you're 2,000 skill rating as opposed to like 1,800 skill rating is far different, right? Like if you're just in the division as opposed to being like far into it. I would say if you're a top 100 player, I would say 90%, or the top 90 are probably in Division 1. Especially at launch like this week. But if you were in high Division 2, you might be able to squeak in top 100, but probably not. After that, it's like Division 2, I would say the cap, if you get 15 wins as a Division 2, that's pretty impressive. Like 15 wins is hard in this game. That's kind of the separator. 14 wins is where you kind of separate the good from the elite, in my opinion. I think 15 wins is kind of that like you're what would be considered a good player or like a great player. Sorry. I would say if you're in Division 3, I would say your cap, like I wouldn't suspect anyone in Division 3 to get more than 12 wins. Again, and I could be wrong and you could be an outlier and I have no idea. It also depends on where you're located, because if you're located in Florida and you're matching up with a much smaller player base and whatnot, as opposed to you're in Southern Ontario, you're in Montreal, and you're matching up with a lot of the player base that is good. That's also going to come into mind. Or you're a West Coast player. No offense, West Coasties, but you have it so much easier than everyone else. And then there's Europeans too, right? So that's a whole other thing. But I would say if you're in Division 4, I would say your peak is, I mean, last year, if you said that you got 8 to 10 wins, that's what I would have guessed. I would say if you're in Division 4, your peak would be 10 wins. That would be my guess, you know? But you give it a shot. You might as well. Hey, Slaves, I gotta say something about content creators and you. Honestly, man, you seem to be the only one that doesn't just whine and bitch about the game every single video. I just want to say thank you, because I can't even load up my YouTube without seeing 90% of NHL creators whine about how HUD has changed and that HUD is dead and blah, blah, blah. It's hard not to tell them to watch your videos where you say if you don't like it, then don't play it or find another game. Anyways, man, just a rant, but I want to say thank you. Never change. You're the GOAT. Well, first of all, I appreciate that. I think that over the years of releasing videos, I've done the doom and gloom and my God, this is awful. And at a certain point, I don't speak for everyone. There are still going to be people that enjoy the game. And I think that if you're watching my videos on a new event and I spend 90% of the event video being like, this is trash, fix it, instead of just being like, this is how the event works, I don't think it's very good. But here's the remainder of the event. It's just a little bit more, helpful because you still want to learn about, what's going on. That being said, we're all as content creators this year. I can't talk for anyone else, but I don't remember a time we've ever been this frustrated. So, it's tough to deal with, right? We want to have fun. We play the game just like you guys do. So, we just want to enjoy it. And if the game is, in a fixable spot, but it's not, nothing's being done to address it, pretty tough. But I do appreciate that, my man. Anyways, would you chase the Bedard or wait for the next gen event and go after Celebrini and wait for another Bedard guard to come out? Thanks again for being one of the only creators I can watch without getting frustrated by the content whining. I know you'll also do it as a job, but you seem like the CEO trying to stay positive, man. Much love for all. Like I said, man, the game is a game. We're still gonna play it, right? So all I can do is give my feedback to the appropriate people at EA, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm getting pretty frustrated with doing just that. So I don't even know how much longer I'm gonna do that. That said, when it comes to Bedard, he's guaranteed more cards. Celebrini's next gen card is probably gonna slap. But Bedard's got 95 wrist shot power and accuracy. Like, that's such an advantage, but the cost is way too high for me. So I'd probably wait for another Bedard. Or what you could, no, the sets aren't still there, so never mind. They messed around with the Team of the Week sets. Hey, Slaves, building a Flames theme team, sunk all my fodder into Icon Iggy. Do you think I'm cheating if I use Adam Fox's X Factor, since technically the Flames did own his rights? Also got my buddy at NHL this year and showed him your channel, and he loves it and is learning a lot. Thanks for all you do in the community, brother. Thank you so much, dude. Gotta say, the Adam Fox one, theme teams are whatever you make them, bro. Don't let other people judge your theme team. Let it fly. You want to use Adam Fox? To be honest, that's a sneaky way to get an X Factor on your team. Hey, Slaves, I live in Bangkok, Southeast Asia, and playing online as NHL is next to impossible due to high ping. It's probably because the game isn't very popular in the area and they don't have a server here. Do you know anything about that? Should I just stick to offline? Yeah, unfortunately, man, there's nothing you could do. I would probably just play offline. Franchise mode, that kind of thing. Why is there no sets for helmets or celebrations this year? Because they more than likely just forgot or didn't think about it. It's a miss, and Hey, Slaves, love the video. Watching since about NHL 21, and you've helped me improve at HUT greatly. I was wondering if you have any advice about buying cards in the auction house. I'm trying to buy up as many 80 to 81s in preparation for the fantasy event. I'm trying to get them for the lowest values. I keep refreshing the auction house, waiting for cheap cards to pop up to buy them, but every time I try to buy now, it's just set expired. Any tips on how to buy cards faster? Do I need to buy quick button? Do I need to buy quick with my button presses? For reference, I play on PlayStation with a controller. Things. This is a ping issue, just like online play. Like, your latency of what you are connected to the EA server when you fire it up, whatever the market is connected to. Like, everyone is doing that. Right? Everyone is looking for that kind of stuff. So my recommendation is try and do it late at night, but there's really not much you can do here, man. Why am I playing International Ice and HUT Champs? Is this a glitch? No, they allowed any arena to be used in HUT. I personally think that was a bit of an oversight. I think that HUT Champs and Rivals, you should have to use normal ice because it does dramatically change the way the game is played. That said, I think that you should be able to use European arenas, but the ice rink surface is not international. And then offline in squad battles and wild card, use whatever you want. Do I stick at 9 wins for the Mega Pack, or do I go get 1 win for the Marlowe, currently 9-8-0? You know what I would do? Wait and see the fantasy event and see if, a pack is really going to dramatically change your life, And if it's not, go and get the guaranteed card. Line changes can be whack, but I've found they're almost a skill gap, especially when you have the long change in the second period. I've been using it a lot in champs, getting multiple breakaways, exposing half-tired defenders. Love that. I love that. That is something to pay attention to. Line changes this year are busted. I don't know how many times my guys just will not get off the ice, and that happens every year, but you almost have to manually drag. If you have a guy that will not get off the ice, guys, can manually control him and skate him over to the bench, and then eventually he'll get off. Hey, slaves, the dreaded top shelf moments objectives are out again. I found that we can't do it like last year. What is your method for hitting top shelf goals? DDD one timers, baby. Just pound them from the point. All right. Upstairs. Aim upstairs. You'll get it eventually. I got 400K and a tradable Pasternak and Fox, roughly 260K. Bought them for champs. Should I just buy McDavid at the price he's at right now to have him on the champs team, or would you personally wait until he drops a bit, even though that could be a while? What I'd recommend is if you really want McDavid for champs, tonight, Friday night, you should see a drop in McKinnon. There's a few questions about McKinnon and McDavid here. So those two should drop a little bit because everyone is going to rip packs from the fantasy event. So I could see those cards falling in price a little bit, not drastically, but I could see them being less expensive than they've been for quite some time. And then it will go right back up because everyone will see that, oh, he's falling in price, and then no one's buying packs after Sunday. So keep that in mind. But I would wait and see what it's at like 7 p.m. 7 p.m. Eastern time. I would take a look at McDavid and just watch a little bit. Or McKinnon, too. Someone's going to ask about McKinnon as well, the same situation. What do you think about making Hut Champs rewards stack? For example, if you get 10 wins, you get the Marlowe, but you also get all the packs from the 9, 8, 7 wins. I would love that because it'd be super rewarding, would fix the market, all of that. The problem is that 70% of the player base doesn't play Hut Champs, and that's not really fair. If you're an offline player, just like if you're an online player, you shouldn't get better rewards in squad battles, right? Which has been the issue for quite some time. But the exact opposite, man. There's not enough of the player base that can get access to these, and then you're making this like you're snapping the rubber band of like the teams for the good players are just gonna fly off the handle there. So, hey slaves, another question on the power up icons and holograms. Out of the modern holograms, which would you make? In Henrique's top 5, there weren't many modern ones. Planning on making Sundin, but not sure which one is the best of the pack. I'll be honest with you. Again, I haven't gotten any proof of this yet, but other than Cale Makar's cover athlete card, I am feeling pretty confident that the best cards to get in the game for the first time in I don't know how long are defensemen. I think that if you go and look at your stats and you sort by goals, you're going to find that you've got a couple defensemen real high up there. And if you do, then I would, Lidstrom would be a great option, for example. But Sundin is probably the best one. Like Sundin looks awesome. Although I couldn't use Eric Lindros very well, but Sundin's obviously better than him, but just same kind of build. Hey slaves, what is the best way to get 75 overalls? Team builder moments. To be honest with you, it's one moment you get a 77 and above item the whole time, but it's probably moments and objectives. The weekly competitive objectives specifically, all those cards are tradable too. Hi, slaves. I'm mostly Hut Champs Rivals player and plan to focus all my resources on team builders and power-up icons rather than X Factors because I enjoy the older players and I find a lot of them more exciting. Do you think I'll be at a disadvantage in competitive games if all my opponents have X Factor McDavid and I won't? Well, you're not going to run into that many X Factor McDavids regardless. Like maybe in 4 months, but regardless, you're probably not going to run into that many if we're being real. And who cares? Unless you are going to win the Gaming World Championship. And the last time I checked, that does not exist anymore. You should just use players you enjoy because now the only caveat here is if you only get enjoyment by winning. And I'm not saying, oh yeah, I'll get them next time and that losing is fun. No, screw that. But I'm saying that like, you're not going to find that many big of an advantage by using cards that you like as opposed to the other ones, Like if you get a bunch of you get a bunch of holograms, you're not going to be at that much of a disadvantage because you got a bunch of holograms, you know what I'm saying? Hey slaves, love these videos, very helpful. My main issues that I'm running into is in the game is playing defense. Somehow I have such a struggle checking the puck off of guys. Body checks don't seem to work, and I've tried using both the stick and the circle hit button. This has led me to having a very passive in the defensive zone and off the rush, causing players to be able to rag the puck in my zone till I make a mistake and get either a one-timer or walk out into the slot. I don't understand what my issue is when I'm in the O zone. Players seem to have no issue shutting me down either by holding up in the slot to where I can't get passes through or being able to walk out if I try one-timers from the point. They seem to get blocked, but my opponents always seem to get through. Just looking for some helpful tips here. So my settings and strategies video will be coming out. I know I've said this a ton. It is a video that I'm slowly but surely working on. And all that I'm seeing right here, these are all things that I struggle with as well. But when I'm playing the best, and again, I'm in high division 2, I'll be in division 1 at some point throughout the year. But it's your patience. So players that struggle when they're in the offensive zone and they've got the puck will feel the need, I got to score right now. And that is the difference between the players that rag the puck and circle in the corner and they're just waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting, is that you on defense have no patience and you want to get the puck back immediately, and that allows them to walk out in the middle, right? You have to be okay with not having the puck. There's games where I'm playing someone I know, I'll let them have the puck for 20 minutes. I don't care, because I know what they're going for, and I will just simply play for that, and eventually I'll get a face-off or a rebound, and I'll get the puck, right? Like that's just what I'll do. So when it comes to checks and body checks, the body check thing I think is simply just because of attributes. Everyone is using, look at your defenseman. If you've got under 85 body checking, which almost every player has, it's just very hard to knock someone off the puck. Hopefully, as the year goes further and we get higher body checking stats, that we'll see to be able to bump people off the puck. Because it's like, it's not the big guys that, it's frustrating not getting the puck off. It's that Cole Caulfield can hold on the puck for forever. The other thing about the poke checks. So, take a look at your defensemen or your players and what their stick checking stat is. That attribute determines how fast and how accurate your stick is when you hit R1. But secondly, everyone's got a better team now. And when you poke a puck free, it's technically a loose puck battle. So then what comes into play is offensive awareness. Because everyone's got really good players now in relative to launch of like early access, when players had a lot of people that did not have good offensive awareness, they can get the puck back very easy because they have a very high offensive awareness stat. So it's just patience, man. You have to be okay with letting players have time in your zone, right? Because again, what you're describing is that you get in the offensive zone and there's no passing lanes. You run around behind the net, that player will open up at the point. And I will show you how to do that in my strategies and tips video. Hey, Slaves, thanks for your help throughout my HUT journey this year. I have a dilemma. I have a tradable base McKinnon. His card is currently going in the market for about 300K. I assume this is because of the Go Avs Go objectives, which will end in a couple days. He plays decent for me, but nothing special. I'm wondering if it's best to capitalize. Sell it before the fantasy event. And then if you don't sell it before the fantasy event, I would wait until he comes back up in price, which would probably be about a day or so. Again, I think that the base cards, the higher base cards, will fall in price a little bit because so many people are going to open up packs today. And then they will crash, so it'll go right back to what they were. Hi, Slaves. Will Captain X Factors get gray zone abilities when they upgrade to a higher level? I would assume so. No confirmation, no. Anyone else feel the same way? Pro mode is so this is a funny comment I'm bringing up because you'll see in a second. Anyone else feel the same way? Pro mode is so frustrating. Difficulty hierarchy against CPUs from easiest to hardest. Rookie, semi-pro, all-star, superstar, pro. I haven't experienced that. But 2 questions later, sorry, where is it? Oh man, where was that? Hang on. There's a reason why I left that in there. Where was it? I can't find it. I apologize. There was another question almost immediately is something going on with with pro mode? Hellpat says, hi, Sleeves. I think that putting the C on a player should give them goal-born leader and silver for an A. That'd be kind of cool. I wouldn't hate that. So I have Stamkos that's stuck in my in my trade box. Is this an issue? If you go to your trade pile and hit send a collection, it's still stuck in there. Message EA help. Hey, Sleeves, just curious if you've got that Celebrini card. Obviously, there are far better options for left-handed wingers, so just wanted to know your thoughts on him. His card is super underwhelming, but I will buy him. But his next-gen event card, guys, is going to be fire. He's going to get a matchup player. NHL is the best community. While the other day, my opponent messaged me. He said, you're trash. Not sure how he knew, but reminded me it was trash day. It was the nicest thing ever. Hey, Slaves, huge fan. Want to know your thoughts on whether I should be selling base McDavid. Talked about that earlier. Hey, Slaves, a huge fan of your. Thanks for all you do in the community. Just curious, in your opinion, are the weekly competitive objective rewards worth grinding for, or would you put a primary focus on completing the wildcard path? I would. The weekly competitive objective path is probably the most lucrative thing in the game right now. but the wild card path gives you 100,000 guaranteed card, given that if it's an X factor. It depends on what the last thing is. Hey, Slaves. Oh, here we go. Hey, Slaves. Keep up the great work of the hockey gods. I'm a purely offline HUT player. I have tried several difficulties and have strangely found that Pro is harder than Superstar. I stick with Semi if I'm playing at the end of a long workday and want to relax, and it's frustrating that Pro seems to be harder than what is considered the hardest. Fellas, I have no idea, but the fact that 2 people said the same thing leads me to believe that it's not just like in a vacuum, you know? I do not understand. I don't play on Pro, so I don't know. I haven't experienced it. I'm tired of my players not getting off the ice and getting vacuumed into board battles constantly. Also, I've noticed this year more than ever that players seem to be tethered to their positions. They just ditch the puck completely. Like if a D is on the rush and a forward is covering for him, if the puck gets close to that D, instead of going for the puck, he goes to the D spot that forward is covering, and the opponent gets the puck rather than continuing the pressure in the cycle. The gameplay has been leaps better in some areas, but significantly downgraded in others. Is this just a skill issue, or are other people noticing this too? I would go and look at your slider settings or your strategy settings. If you are set to the 1-4 neutral zone and you've got a full trap, then the second that that player loses the puck, because technically it's a loose puck battle, your defenseman's going to go right back. Right? Your defense is just going to go right back. So check that. If you're on full out attack, full aggressiveness, then your defenseman should stay up in the play. But that might just be a strategies issue. I might be in the minority here, but as an offline only filthy casual, I love how OP one-timers are. Just ripping them nonstop is the most fun I've had in NHL games in a while. I 100% see why they need to be nerfed in online play, but you can't lie. It's pretty funny watching a D-man point their stick to the sky and wind up before clapping a Mach 5 piss missile. I agree. Like, they are comically fun sometimes. When you play online and you get it a little bit better and you get higher up, it is very frustrating to play a really good game against a good player and they just flick up, you know? So it is a little frustrating, but nonetheless, I think, again, it's just on the D2D one-timers that are unscreened. I think those should be saved. That's going to do it for this episode of Who Should You Choose? Thank you for everyone watching, and be sure to tune into the fantasy event stream. Should be a banger. We're also opening 15 bonus reward packs that you get at the end of the XP path. Someone in my community, Ratsy, has not left his house since the launch of this game, has Eichel and all 15 packs. We're going to open all 15 of those packs on stream, and I'm terrified to see what's in them, because if they're bronzes, we're cooked. So, see you guys later.